Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name's Emily if you are new here. In today's video, I'm going over my bookshelf reorganization, which I did today, and I will be doing a updated bookshelf tour because I have never done one before, and every time now that I have reorganized my shelves, I'm very happy with how my shelves turned out. I did a little bit of color coordination in some parts of the shelves, so you guys will obviously see me put that all together. Please stick around. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and let's get on with the footage. So my bookshelf officially empty except for all the One Piece pop vinyls up there, but I'm about to start reorganizing them. So I think I'm going to do one of the shelves as a color coordinated shelf and then have like my series together. I don't know, I'm like very overwhelmed by it all, but I'm very excited to do this, so let's get started. Okay friends, so we're going to start off with my Sarah J Maas shelf. So we first have the Throne of Glass series, and then next to the Throne of Glass we have the Akatar series and the Crescent City series, and then I have a Feyre mug which I use for display purposes. I also have two Akatar themed candles, which is Resand and Night Court, and then I also have some Feyre wax melts that I have not used yet. Coming down a shelf, we will start off with the two books that I have in the Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy. So I have A Glint and Gleam, which is the second and the third book in that series. The reason why I only have the first two books in the series is because I read Guild on my Kindle, so I don't have that physically yet. So the next three books are the Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy by Carrie Maniscalco. I love this series. I love Daddy Raph. And then I have From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I only have the first book in Blood and Ash series. I have not read it yet. Well, actually, that's a lie. I've read about 60 pages in From Blood and Ash, but I put it down to start another read, so I am to pick that one up again. And then the next books I have is my Shadow Me series. So I have obviously all the books in the Shadow Me series. This is a 5-star series for me. This is by Tahara Murphy. I absolutely love the Shadow Me series. I love Warner, I love Kenji, and I love Julia as characters. It's one of my all-time favorite series. Just absolutely love it. I adore Tahara Murphy's writing. It's great. And then moving along, I have two books in the Folk of the Air trilogy, so I don't have the Cruel Print physically, but I have The Wicked King and The Queen of Nothing, which are by Holly Black. And I also have The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. So the Folk of the Air series, we follow Jude and our male main character Carden. Her next series, The Stolen Heir, only one book out at the moment. It is going to be a duology. The second book will be coming out in 2024 sometime. I have the Vampire Academy series, which is by Rochelle Mead, and I have the full collection here, numbers 1 to 6. I have only read up to book 4, so I have Spiritbound and Last Sacrifice to read. I have Angel Fall by Susan E., which is Penryn and the End of Days book 1. I have read the first 2 books in this trilogy, but I have not read the final book yet, and I have read the second book on my Kindle. And then we have Nightmare Before Christmas, Long Live the Pumpkin Queen by Shay Earnshaw. So I actually very much enjoyed this book. It was such a Christmassy vibe. I think I read it back in October for like that spooky season, but I really did enjoy it. And then coming down another shelf, I have the first 2 books in this series of the Book of Supernatural Lore. I was gifted these by the author Elle Fisher. I am still yet to read these. Hopefully in Summerween, like for the Summerween readathon, I'll be able to pick those up. And then I have Orphea and Erudicitus by Elise John. I was also gifted this by HarperCollins. I am yet to read it as well, but it does sound super interesting. It is like a reverse myth retelling. And then I have the second book in the Vampire Diaries series, which I have no idea even why I have it. I just picked it up on a whim at my local bookstore because they have like so many old classics, so I decided just to pick it up. Then I have The Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, which I only have The Six of Crows. I don't have Crooked Kingdom yet, and I haven't even read Six of Crows yet, but I am to pick it up soon. And then we have Fire and Blood by George R. Martin, which is about the Targaryens, and they are the family that really interests me the most, so I decided to pick this one up as well, which I have not read yet. Then I have The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. I love this book. I read it back in October as well, I'm pretty sure. 5 out of 5 star read for me. It's such a fun and witchy romance. Grady Hendrix, Final Girl Support Group. I have not read that yet. The Midnight Club by James Patterson. Again, I haven't read. Deadly Education by Naomi Novak. I have not read this either. Dying to Know by Ray Cairns. I was gifted this by HarperCollins. Haven't read yet. All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham, which is a thriller I recently just read. I absolutely loved it. Then we have a Penguins classic of Tales of Ancient Egypt. I bought this back in high school and I still have it. I love Ancient Egypt and all the history about that. The Fine Print by Lauren Asher, which is the first book in the Dreamland Billionaires series. I have not read this again. Sorcery Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I have not read this yet, but it is slowly making its way up to the top of my TBR because I've only heard amazing things about Margaret Rogerson's writing, so I'm very excited to pick that up. The X-Talk by Rachel Lynn Solomon is another romance, and I have not read this yet. The Love Hypothesis by Ailey Hazelwood. It was a 5-star read for me. Blake, Alone with You in the Ether. I have not read this yet. The Existence of Amy by Lana Grace Riva. I have not read this yet either, and that was kindly gifted to me by the author. I then have another Little Penguins classic poetry collection. Then I have another edition of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This is like an Amazon edition and has beautiful gold foiling around the edges. And then facing out, I have The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, one of my all-time favorite reads. And this edition is stunning. I love the cover. And then we have My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. This is another fun romance. It had a like murder mystery aspect to it as well. I actually really enjoyed it. It's a Grumpy Sunshine. Tomorrow and Tomorrow Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevins. I have not read this yet either. It is currently on my high up on the TBR. And then I have the first and the third book in the Before the Coffee Gets Cold series, which I absolutely love. I'm still yet to read the second and the third in the series, but the second book is currently on my May TBR. And then coming down another shelf, we have My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. I really enjoyed this. I rated it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was marked down a 0.5 of a star due to a scene in the book. If you know, you know. I'm sure everyone else agrees with me, but I'll just say max. Then I have The Shining by Stephen King. I have not read this yet, but I have a really fun mass paperback. The Selected Works of Edgar Allan Poe, which I have not read yet. The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Again, I haven't read. House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. I have not read this yet. Train of Gold by Cassandra Clare. I have not read this yet. This is the first book in the Last Hours series. I don't know why I even have it. I haven't got any of her other books at all on her backlist, so I am still yet to read The Shadowhunter World. Verity by Colleen Hoover. I actually really enjoyed this one. That is the only book though that I've read by Colleen Hoover. Her other novels do not interest me at all. Stars Come Out by Scarlett St. Clair. I have not read this yet, but I have heard that it is a Orpheus and Eurydice retelling as well. I could be wrong, but it's definitely some sort of a Greek mythology retelling. The Liminal Zone by Junji Ito. I have not read this yet, but it is on my May TBR and I'm so excited. Cursed Bunny by Bora Chong. This is also on my May TBR. It is a horror, literary fiction, science fiction novel. It has like a few short stories in there. And then facing out the sprayed edges, I have Red Scholar's Wake. This is an Illumicrate special edition, which I absolutely love the ombre edges, so I thought I would face them outwards. You Hate Adam Connor by Ella Mays. This is a romance that I have not read yet. Love on the Brain by Ellie Hazelwood. I absolutely adore this book, 5 out of 5 stars. My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otisha Moshfegh. I have not read this yet either, but it is high up on my TBR. Bunny by Mona Award. One of my all-time favorite reads of this year so far. Of course, I had to be faced out because look how absolutely stunning this cover is. 5 out of 5 stars. The Inheritance Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I have not read this yet. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I have not read yet. The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelis. I have not read. Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I have not read yet. And then I have a memoir, I Do Not Need Therapy and Other Lies I Told Myself by Toni Lodge. I have not read either, but I really want to get to soon. And behind Bunny, I have Book Lovers by Emily Henry, which again, I haven't not read yet. And then at the end here, we have a little Sally mug because it goes perfect with my red tones. And then coming down a shelf again, I will just bring you guys a little bit closer because the lighting is a little bit crap right now, sorry. So I have Circe by Madeline Miller, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. I love the retelling of Circe, and the cover is absolutely stunning, so that's why it's facing out. The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. I have not read yet, but I have only heard amazing things about this high fantasy series. The Spanish Love Deception by Alina Ames. I have not read yet. Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. 5 out of 5 star read for me. I'm obsessed with Daisy Jones and the Six. Absolutely love it. The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I have not read either, and I've heard quite mixed reviews about this one, but I have not been in a romance mood lately, so it's probably going to stay my TBR for quite a while. Before the Coffee Gets Cold, Tales Told from the Cafe, which is the second book in the Before the Coffee Gets Cold series. So this is on my May TBR, and I'm very excited to get to that. Then I have Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare, which is the first book in the Infernal Devices series. So I do have another book by Cassandra Clare. Again, I haven't read any of her other books. I haven't read any of her books in general, so maybe I should start with the Infernal Devices, but I have her to start with her original series, so I still need to read that. But I did watch the Shadowhunters series on Netflix and I adored it, and I remember mostly everything that happened between Clarice and Jace. So let me know in the comments if I need to read the first series to read Infernal Devices. And then phasing out of the sprayed edges, I have Lies We Sing to the Sea by Sarah Underwood. This is another Unlimited Crate special edition. I absolutely love the central edges, so I thought I would phase them out. And then I was kindly gifted this beautiful edition of Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett by my friend Dashka. So that was for a giveaway that I won on Bookstagram, but I absolutely adore her so much. So again, thank you for this copy of Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I'm still yet to read it. I am currently in my massive fantasy era, so I might pick it up soon because it sounds like I love learning about the fairy folklore, so I'm very excited to pick it up. Another non-fiction novel, which is What Is My Dog Thinking by Gwen Bailey. I am so weird and I need to know everything about my dog, so I thought, what is my dog thinking? Perfect thing to read. I have Gallant by V. Schwab. Absolutely adored that book. I read it last year. I think I rated it a 4 out of 5 stars, but I love the atmospheric vibes. Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I rated this a 3 out of 5 stars. I really did not enjoy that much, and I don't think I'm going to continue on with the series, unfortunately. I have Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Melors. I have not read this yet, but I am planning on doing a South Girl reading vlog, so this will be high on my TBR for that vlog. And then I have Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I have not read this yet, but I'm planning on reading it in October. And then at the end here, I have a little Satoru Gojo pop vinyl, which I think is so adorable. And I have a little Halloween pumpkin. The last shelf, I have my manga shelf and my library hauls and my Kindle. So I have Uzumaki by Junji Ito. I have only read the first volume in that series, in that binder, but I'm absolutely loving it. Then I have the first 4 black editions of Death Note. I'm currently up to the 4th one and I'm obsessed with Death Note. I highly recommend anyone who's into manga, please pick up this series. And then I have volumes 1 to 5 of Spy Family, which I've read and adored. The first 3 volumes of Rosenblood, which is quite a trashy manga in my opinion, but I really enjoy it, so that's why I keep reading it. The first 2 volumes in the Animal Crossing manga. And then I have the first volume of Snow White with the Red Hair, which I haven't read yet, but I'm very excited to get to. And then I just have some markers, my bookmarks, a little Anya figurine, which I think is so adorable. I have some tabs and sticky notes for obviously my annotating. And then here are some library books that I have at the moment. The Poppy War, The Witcher, Blood of Elves, which is the first book in the Witcher series, and I have 2 graphic novels. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video of me reorganizing my bookshelf. I'm very happy with how my organization turned out, but who knows, I may change my mind in the next few weeks because I'm very indecisive. It's going to take a while for me to get used to the whole color coordination because I've never done it before and all my series are out of place, but most of my series, like my fantasy ones, are together, so that is the main thing for me because I just could not deal with it otherwise. But don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.